Good morning,
Good morning.
or good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you are watching this.
Oh yeah, it's evening usually when this comes out.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Oh, you know what? I didn't ask you is if you could still hear me properly. I forget exactly how I set that up. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Welcome to Bible Together. We are looking at the book of Joshua together as we converse through just looking at what we're um seeing, what God is showing us from the different passages this morning, this evening, whenever. Um, Today we're looking at Joshua 18, and we're gonna sort of skim some things
Not like intentionally. It's just
very intentionally.
yes, I suppose it is intentional. But I mean, because 18 to basically 22 is
For the sake of this format,
yeah.
this isn't something we recommend you do in your Bible study. Um, and It can be hard to sort of read through these lists, especially like if you're doing this, hopefully in a time of devotions, you'll read through the Bible at some point. I know this part can be particularly tricky because I think as Christians, we all come at the Bible and go, I'm doing this because I'm going to take something from it,
Hmm.
right? Like every single verb, noun, adjective, participle, article, like every single piece of every word of the Bible is something that I should get something from. If I don't get it, then I've either missed it, done something wrong, or I need to get it when I come back later. And to be honest, like the lists, a lot of the time, genealogies and these geography lists are sort of to show us God's providence, but aside from learning about how God is keeping his promises to the Israelites despite their waywardness, there's not always a lot to take from them. And so sometimes they speak to you, sometimes they don't. That's okay. Just keep reading. But for the sake of the format, we're going to read through the chunks of text in these last few chapters of Joshua that are not lists of geographic allotments.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, if we see anything else, we'll talk about it, and we'll get into Judges soon.
Hmm.
And so we'll start today on Joshua 18. And all right. Are you gonna skip around and read, or am I doing?
I can read. So we're going to read verses 1 through 10 of chapter 18. Now that the land was under Israelite control, the entire community of Israel gathered at Shiloh and set up the tabernacle. But there remained 7 tribes who had not yet been allotted their grants of land. Then Joshua asked them, How long are you going to wait before taking possession of the remaining land the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given to you? Select 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them out to explore the land and map it out. They will then return to me with a written report of their proposed divisions of their new homeland. Let them divide the land into 7 sections, including Judah's territory in the south and Joseph's territory in the north. And when you record the 7 divisions of the land and bring them to me, I will cast sacred lots in the presence of the Lord our God to assign land to each tribe. The Levites, however, will not receive any allotment of land. Their role as priests of the Lord is their allotment. And the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and the half tribe of Manasseh won't receive any more land, for they have already received their grant of land, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them on the east side of the Jordan. As the men started on their way to map out the land, Joshua commanded them, Go and explore the land and write a description of it. Then return to me, and I will assign the land to the tribes by casting sacred lots here in the presence of the Lord at Shiloh. The men did as they were told and mapped the entire territory into 7 sections, including the towns in each section. They made a written record and then returned to Joshua in the camp at Shiloh. And there at Shiloh, Joshua cast sacred lots in the presence of the Lord to determine which tribe should have each section. First, cartographers.
I mean, not the first, right? We get lots of maps that are explained to us in the Old Testament.
Before this?
I mean, even you think about Um, even in early Genesis, explaining where the descendants of Noah go.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I don't, this is the first account of writing, like of making a map.
Oh, yeah.
The first mission to, like, you are commissioned,
Hmm.
and it says, write a description and a written report, which means the men that go have to be, I guess, a bit like the spies, like they have to be careful, but
Hopefully
they
they,
also have to be learned enough to write, and they have to be intelligent spies.
yeah.
I mean, I guess most spies are.
Eh, the other 10 that went initially weren't.
Yeah.
So I don't, my history of like the evolution of writing technology is not good. I don't have a clue what they're writing with at this point.
Yeah, that's or what they're writing on,
That's what I mean. Like,
because paper at this time has to be, it can't be paper, right?
oh, it's not for another 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And then some.
What are they writing on, leather? Like
So vellum
yeah.
is popular, but I know it's popular around the time of Jesus. This is several hundred years before that.
The Egyptians didn't have paper?
They had papyrus,
Yeah, papyrus.
but
But it was a
papyrus
really
is made from
lengthy
reeds.
process. Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is the end of the Exodus. So,
I think because Moses is recorded with the Ten Commandments on stone tablets,
yeah.
and this is within 100 years of that.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, they conquered many
the
lands. Maybe they collected paper.
the assumption is like they're still chiseling everything out, but I don't actually know if that's the case.
Yeah.
But I do wish I
I
knew
think it's
more.
probably on vellum.
So vellum
Vellum.
is uh, it's a skin, right?
Hmm.
Typically sheepskin.
But
It's an
thinned
animal
out,
hide, and it's thinned down.
like
It's used for parchment,
dried and thinned out. And
and it's an interesting medium because you can reuse it, right? You can clean the ink off and reuse it, and so there
oh,
is
Native Americans wrote on
yeah.
animal skins.
So
And
there's people who take these old pieces of vellum and they'll put them under like an x-ray scanner and they will find like layers of the metals from the inks they use and
oh,
see like, oh, this used to have something else on it.
yeah.
I don't know if that's around this time or not, but um, yeah, I just wish I knew what they were writing this all down on. And like, does Joshua end up with this library of reports, this email inbox?
Yeah. I wonder if there was anything else. I can't think of anything else.
That's what I'm saying. So
Didn't they write on, kind of, but on, not write, but they're like on clay, like
yeah, I was just about to say that's after this. So
yeah.
like 120 years after this, the Babylonians and the Persians are still writing on clay cylinders,
Yeah, that's what I was
and
thinking.
people are still recording things on pots and pottery, and
Right.
so yeah, I guess it is kind of on whatever they could find.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you could weave. I don't know if you could weave it into your tapestries, but
Oh
that
God!
would be too. You can't do that on the go.
Now everybody stay still. I gotta weave me a picture of
I
where
gotta
everybody's
send the
going.
shuttle through the loom. I don't even know if they had that then.
I'm I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
A loom. I
A
don't.
shuttle?
Yeah, there's a shuttle that you. Sorry. There's a used. It's called a shuttle. I think that there's more to it than that, but it's called a shuttle, and you send it through. I think that's much later. I don't think they had the loom.
I'm sure they had some form of loom. I don't know that
Yeah, they might have had.
it's just the term
You
for
can have
like
a very simple loom
a
that's
weaving assistant,
just
right?
like a box, like a square with pegs, and they might have had that for weaving.
According to the David movie, they had complicated looms.
Pardon?
According to the David movie,
Yeah, the David movie.
complicated looms. I I
David's
s-
much later, though.
I know that. I still want some of the tapestries that they show in that movie, and I can't even find like I've looked around to see, hey guys, is there like concept art that I could have of this, and it just doesn't exist. Um,
Hmm.
of the loon, like, sorry, if you've seen the animated movie for David, there's this whole, like, seems to be a pretty normal thing for like Christian or biblical kids movies to have a song about tapestries, but they're all very brightly colored and they're very pretty.
Yeah, they're singing about how our lives are like tapestries. That's a different.
Still about a tapestry.
And that's from Joseph,
That's from the Prince of Egypt,
about Joseph.
about Moses.
Oh, dang it. I mixed them up. But there
There is
is
a Joseph
there is
movie,
an animated movie
the
that's the
same
same
studio.
art, the
We are
same.
not making any progress. Yeah, it's not good. The Joseph one's terrible.
It is terrible. I'm not even sure I watched it all the way through.
All right, where do you want me to go to now, my dear?
Okay, so I'll just, I guess, read through the headers so we can at least
I need verse numbers.
verse numbers. Verse 11. So, verse 11 of chapter 18, it says, the land given to Benjamin. That's 12. Okay, and then there's this whole section about all of the land given to Benjamin. And then chapter 19, the second allotment of land, chapter 19, verse 1. The land given to Simeon, verse 10. The land given to Zebulun, verse 17. The land given to Issachar, verse 24. The land given to Asher, verse 32. The land given to Naphtali, verse 40. The land given to Dan, and verse 49. I'll read a bit of this. That's 47.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
okay.
but they had trouble. We could talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Verse 47. But the tribe of Dan had trouble taking possession of their land. So they attacked the town of Laish. They captured it, slaughtered its people, and settled there. They renamed the town Dan after their ancestor. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Dan included these towns and their surrounding villages.
Repetition.
After all the land was divided among the tribes, the Israelites gave a piece of land to Joshua as his allocation. That's verse 49. For the Lord had said he could have any town he wanted. He chose Timnath Serah in the hill country of Ephraim. He rebuilt the town and lived there. These are the territories that Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the tribal leaders allocated as grants of land to the tribes of Israel by casting sacred lots in the presence of the Lord at the entrance of the tabernacle at Shiloh. So the division of the land was completed. I'm just going back real quick to see if anybody else had trouble like Dan.
Trouble like Dan.
None of them have that like tagline at the end that say, but they had trouble, except for Dan. But the tribe of Dan had trouble taking possession of their land. Doesn't really discuss what that
But then
trouble.
it basically says, so he conquered and moved in somewhere. It's a
Hmm?
strange, like, well, they had trouble, so they just conquered something else and called that Dan.
I think there's another reference for this somewhere else. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Oops.
Okay. Hmm. Ah, yes, it's in Judges. I thought so.
We haven't got to Judges yet.
Pardon?
We haven't got there yet.
I know, I know we haven't. It's the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountain, for they would not suffer them to come down to the valley. That's Judges chapter 1.
We're getting there. Don't get ahead of the story.
What? We're what do you mean ahead of the story? We're in the story right now. Also, oh no, that's in the movie David. Um, is it the Amalekites? It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think it's the Amalekites. But I get them confused because there's a couple of ites,
There's lots of ites.
Amorites, Anakites, Amalekites.
Jebusites, Hittites, Perizzites.
They're different. They're different. Hmm.
Canaanites,
Yeah. So
Hivites,
they started with an area. They couldn't do it,
Rephaites,
so they went somewhere else.
Jebusites.
Pardon?
There's a lot more ites.
I I I know. So yeah, they didn't actually go with their original section. They went somewhere
I,
else.
I I probably shouldn't, but I do love the attitude of, we'll just go somewhere else and call that Dan.
Well,
That's kind of how we live.
yeah.
Just, go somewhere else, call that home. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, well, we've got all these towns in America. I don't know if this is the same in Canada, but we have like New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire. Uh,
Hmm.
these are all the second version of the version in the homeland. The what do you call it? The original country of origin. It'd be funny if you had a town now and you discovered an unpopulated area and you called it New Houston. Or what's kind of an odd
Like Memphis, right?
But Memphis is not New Memphis, it's just Memphis. They
But it
just
is
pop
New Memphis. It's just
It
not
is New
called that.
Memphis. It should be New
Yeah.
Memphis. Kind of sounds stupid though when you say.
Well, so I'm sure did New York at the time.
I know, but now it just you can't say it any other way. Like
But you
it
can't call it New Dan because they didn't have First Dan.
yeah. Right. Anything about Joshua and his allotment? Any town he wanted.
It does sound interesting the way that it's phrased.
Yeah.
Um, it says, after all the land was divided among the tribe, the Israelites gave a piece of the land to Joshua as his allocation. For God said he could
Like
pick
he
whatever he
gets
wanted.
it.
But it sounds like they divvied out all the land and they were like, "Oh, here, Joshua, this piece is yours now." It the way that the order that it's written in
Hmm.
makes it seem like Joshua didn't pick.
I don't remember what tribe Joshua was from originally. Um, I know he's son of none, but I don't. That doesn't help.
We did this with Caleb, but we didn't do it with Joshua.
Right. Well, he was
I'm going
adopted into
Reuben.
Judah, right?
I'm going Reuben. I don't really have a reason for that, but
I think it's Benjamin. Dang it. He's from Ephraim.
biscuits. You were closer in age.
Yeah, I guess I it wasn't. I was off. It's Ephraim, descendant of Joseph.
That's interesting. Ephraim gets kind of shafted in the scheme of the tribal allotments. I
Hmm.
wonder if that's because a big chunk of it goes to Joshua. And why is there no like city or country named after Joshua?
He's humble, maybe. He didn't name his allotment after himself like Dan did.
Dan wasn't alive.
Yeah, but people are pretty proud of their tribes.
Who wouldn't be proud? I wonder if Joshua has children.
I don't know. I He had to have. I don't know why I can't remember. I know all about Caleb,
Too much time. That's because our child is named Kayla.
but mostly that Caleb had a daughter. Okay. No, there's only one reference about his household, and that's in Joshua 24:15. But no record of having a family.
Mm.
Joshua says in the last chapter, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." I think there's just an assumption that he has a family. But I mean, Moses had a family. He had a, yeah, he had wives, he had children. Um, I can't imagine that he didn't really. I mean,
Spent too much time in the mountain.
okay. Let's do the cities of refuge, chapter 20. We'll do 1 to verse 6. The Lord said to Joshua, "Now tell the Israelites to designate the cities of refuge, as I instructed Moses. Anyone who kills another person accidentally and unintentionally can run to one of these cities. They will be places of refuge from relatives seeking revenge for the person who was killed. Upon reaching one of these cities, the one who caused the death will appear before the elders at the city gate and present his case. They must allow him to enter the city and give him a place to live among them. If the relatives of the victim come to avenge the killing, the leaders must not release the slayer to them, for he killed the other person unintentionally and without previous hostility. But the slayer must stay in that city and be tried by the local assembly, which will render a judgment, and he must continue to live in that city until the death of the high priest who was in office at the time of the accident. After that, he is free to return to his own home in the town from which he fled." And then verses 7 say where exactly these cities are. And verse 9 says, "These cities were set apart for all the Israelites as well as the foreigners living among them. Anyone who accidentally killed another person could take refuge in one of these cities. In this way, they could escape being killed in revenge prior to standing trial before the local assembly."
I'm not sure I understand what these cities are for.
What do you mean?
I, I, I'm having a really hard time following this. Um,
They're for people who accidentally killed someone.
to be tried.
Yes. My thing is, how did they pay for these people that suddenly it says you have to give them a place to live?
Yeah, taxes.
Taxes. Yeah. How difficult would it be though to be one of those cities and and a person comes in? How do you'd have to investigate. You'd have to have a
Well, there's a
whole
trial.
yeah, you'd have to have an office and a person that's in charge of that investigating, and that person would have to go to that person's town wherever they came from and ask what happened.
So if they're innocent, they stay there until the high priest dies, or if they're guilty, they stay there, or both.
If they're guilty, they probably execute them.
Yeah.
But I wonder how they determine that they're guilty. Even if say there was a witness and they went and questioned, you have to have two witnesses. You can't have one. So you have to determine there has to be two witnesses just based on, you know, other texts that we have. I'm guessing they probably inquire of the Lord. I'm guessing they do other things. And then, but the fact that you have to wait till the high priest dies, that might be your whole lifetime.
Or it could be 2 days.
I mean, it could be, but like, uh, there's only one high priest, right?
Yeah, and if you're found innocent and then have to live there until the high priest dies, are you still provided for by the city?
If you're innocent, why can't you go home?
I don't know. This is where I'm saying I don't really understand what the point of these towns are, and I find the language maybe in this translation is it's confusing.
Hmm. It says they will render a judgment until the death. After that, he is free to return to his own home from which he fled. It does seem like, regardless of what the judgment is, he has to stay in that town until the high priest dies. Honestly, if you accidentally kill someone, I don't think I'd want to go back.
No.
I don't, I mean, I think it's a bit more difficult when your whole family is in the last town. Like, that's your life. You need your family to survive. Um, and I think it would be hard to start over in a new city. But the Jewish people are all about hospitality. I mean, they're supposed to be. Uh, and so maybe they really do take care of these people, especially if they're innocent.
It's interesting.
Hmm. But there is, a real, the Avenger
Yeah.
is terrifying. Because I guess if oh, this would take some more research, but if you do avenge, even if it was an accident, then don't you become a murderer? There's no fleeing to this town if you're avenging for a murder. Because then this whole system would just keep looping round and round, and everyone could kill everyone and just flee to. But if you kill somebody who accidentally killed someone, then you're just a murderer. It's not an accident. You can't flee. You're just going to be executed, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
I I bet though that this was an issue. Like, I bet it became an issue.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you have a town that's basically set up as a sanctuary city, and um, like everything else in the Hebrew system, like there's a lot of in order for this to work, people really have to care about God more than themselves.
Hmm.
And that is clearly a struggle for humans. And the Jews are no different. And the Israelites struggle. So clearly, like everything else, this system is going to be abused eventually. But I think on Jubilee, these people would go home anyways, right?
Oh, maybe.
I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
there's another provision in Jubilee for these sanctuary towns to be like kind of cleansed.
Hmm.
21.
21 is the towns given to the Levites.
Okay.
Um, they're given pasture land. They're given everything they need uh, to live within all of Israel. But all of it is just talking about
Right.
what towns they were given and the pasture land they were given. It mentions uh, fields that are specifically Caleb's as his possession in the middle in verse 12. It does say that they consult with Eleazar at the very beginning and Joshua and the leaders of the tribe to determine what cities are. the Levitical towns. And then in verse 43, it
Sorry.
says,
43?
yeah,
Oh, I'm in the wrong chapter.
of chapter 21. So the Lord gave to Israel all the land he had sworn to give their ancestors, and they took possession of it and settled there. And the Lord gave them rest on every side, just as he had solemnly promised their ancestors. None of their enemies could stand against them, for the Lord helped them conquer all their enemies. Not a single one of all the good promises the Lord had given to the family of Israel was left unfulfilled. Everything he had spoken came true, which is awesome. Um, I wonder if you're one of the tribes that's in the middle, like in the center, are you the most protected and most flourishing because you don't have anybody around you to harm you? Or and do the people that are on the outsides, like the farthest north, I know west, west, no, east, sorry, on the east side of all of the allotments are things like Moab, Edom, and Ammon, because I know that from my study in Kings and Chronicles. So everything east. Like, I wonder if it was hard for those uh, tribes to flourish if they're constantly having to be concerned with those countries.
So Reuben, his southern border, it borders Moab.
Mm-hmm.
And then Judah, the kind of southeastern side, goes up against the river, which is where Edom is. And sorry, did I say Reuben?
You did.
Judah.
Yeah.
Southeastern part of Judah
Yeah.
goes
Judah's
up
south.
against Edom. And then but it also goes like there's all the other nations that are that way going towards Egypt
Mm-hmm.
on Judah's side. And I think they probably did consider some amount of safety from the sea, but
Yes.
the Mediterranean Sea does become a source of problems for them eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But you got Manasseh and oh, excuse me. At least the eastern part of Manasseh is on the outer edge as well, which is where the Persians and the Babylonians would have come down from.
Mm-hmm.
Asher is like Tyre is in the original allotment of Asher, and Tyre becomes all sorts of problematic.
Yeah. I think 22 is got some interesting things in it. We may want to read all of that.
Okay. Well, it's been 35 minutes. I
Mm.
don't think we have time to do all of 22, but maybe we'll do another week of this and then get into Judges from there.
Oh,
Finish
it's
off
still got 2 more
Joshua.
chapters after
I know.
22.
Try and finish off Joshua next week and then, or in the next 2 weeks if we have to.
Okay. So you want to try and get through 22? No. Oh, okay.
Not today.
Yeah.
I don't think I can. Um, it is interesting the way that Israel spreads out it seems pretty vast compared to where they end up. So, like, the map of what Israel is right after Joshua's sort of allotment period is finished is a lot different than the map, say, during the period of the northern and southern kingdoms.
Mhm.
The edges kind of get squished in a bit. And even that, though, the original conquest, it's not even close to the land that Joshua promised, or that God promised Abraham,
Yeah.
because the Israelites just stopped walking.
Yeah.
They stopped trying to expand. And if they had expanded to where God had promised them,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have probably had the problems that they did have with the Babylonians and the Persians,
That's
with
true.
the Assyrians, except for the fact that, you know, they only have that problem because they're disobedient to God.
The Persians and the Babylonians, did they expand because of food?
I mean, we kind of say it's always about food.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, I
you expand because of wealth,
yes.
but to get the wealth, you need the people. And to keep the people, you need the food.
Yes. But I just wonder, was there, because usually there's usually like a desire to expand and to conquer, but it's if you do have the desire, it is pushed by food. You do just need more land to support
I
people.
think it's just a pride thing, really. Like, you have an emperor and some weasel in the corners poking his brain, going, "You're greater than just this land. Everybody should be subject to you."
A weasel, a worm tongue.
Yeah, I'm just because it does seem like I look at Daniel and the other wise men that are giving counsel to Nebuchadnezzar, and they're like, "Hey, shouldn't we all worship you?" Like, it just feels like that trope comes from somewhere, that archetype of there's always a guy who's like fifth in command that will never be in charge but can reap the benefits of being up high, and they push and prod the rulers to go further and further.
Yeah.
But men are also pretty prideful and arrogant in general, so the kings, they want to show how great they are and expand. Maybe they're provoked, maybe some other nation needs food and invades them, so they go to war. Side that was invaded wins,
Hmm.
and now you have little empires starting to grow.
Yeah.
Because I think of like Genghis Khan, right? Like, there was Mongolia is a fairly difficult place to live,
Yeah.
but his desire to expand, I don't think was food based. It was just greed and lust. Like, it
Yeah.
was all pride. So,
Well, maybe there's a desire for empire, and if you want an empire,
but then you need the food. And that's what I was saying. Like, you want to expand, and
yeah.
you only increase wealth if you have people to mine and to harvest for you,
Hmm.
but you need to feed them. And the Roman Empire figured this out. If they can keep everybody happy with bread and wine, then their empire will expand and be stable. And it's not until the emperor's greed, uh, so as different people take control of the Roman Empire, the greed is sort of kept up with the expansion. But there
Mm.
comes a point where the Roman Empire is not expanding as much, but the greed continues to grow. And that's when we see the like manufactured inflation of the coins. And so the emperors begin to mix their coins with lighter metals, but they're paying the soldiers the same amount. So that the soldiers get 4 gold coins, and they go to the baker, and the baker weighs their coins, and they weigh half as much. So they only get half as much bread.
Mm.
And the soldiers go, "What the heck? We've been working like." And in the time, the Roman soldiers are, as much as they are soldiers, they're also police.
Yeah.
They are the people who keep the roads safe. Like, there's a lot of taxes, that there's a lot of infrastructure that goes into keeping the Roman Empire big and peaceful and happy. And eventually the emperors go, "Well, let's mix some tin. Let's make the coins out of tin and then just coat them in gold or some other metal." And they don't weigh as much. And so now all of a sudden the soldiers aren't kept happy because they
Hmm.
can't buy bread for their family because it doesn't weigh as much.
Yeah.
And this fundamentally leads to the collapse of the empire. And it's because the soldiers weren't being fed.
Was this based on greed by the emperor?
Yeah, so he didn't want to give out as much gold. He had all this gold in his treasury, and instead of minting coins with his face on it that are made from gold, he minted coins with his face on it that are made of copper and tin and different metals that are lighter in weight than gold,
Mm.
and then just like plated them in gold essentially. So the soldiers are used to getting 4 or 5 coins for their work for the week, and they go to the baker, and the baker doesn't care how many coins they're used to getting. He weighs it still,
Yeah.
and that's why in the Bible, whenever coins come into play, the name of the coins are often uh, woven in with the name of weights
Mm.
because the actual economy was based on the weight of the metal,
Yeah.
and it they kind of get conflated a lot.
Mm. It's too bad he didn't have advisors that told him
Well, he did. He was
it's a real
crazy.
bad idea.
That man was.
Which
I don't remember his name. Diocletian, maybe.
mm.
I don't remember his name. I wouldn't even venture to say that that's correct. But it was near the fall of the Roman Empire, like several hundred years after Jesus, when this begins to be like a fundamental source of their problem. The greed outgrew the growth of the empire,
Uh,
and they couldn't get away with it anymore.
yeah.
The vast majority of the Roman Empire is water, though.
Did you say water?
Yeah. For all the land they conquered, it's like the land strip of land that borders the Mediterranean Sea on all sides.
Mm.
And it's just and then like eventually it goes up into like England, but it's a big stretch of land.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, there's your weekly lesson on Roman inflation. Okay, I'm just very tired.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We'll try to finish off Joshua here, get into Judges. It gets a little bit more interesting, and there's a lot more going on. But hopefully you do enjoy it. I know some people have been commenting throughout the weeks, which we appreciate. I do see them in little batches as we don't have anybody helping us with this. It's not the easiest to get to. So if you do have any questions or anything or any corrections, feel free to leave them below and we'll see them eventually. But until next time, hopefully you can do this with your family or somebody you love in your life and just talk through what you see in the Bible together. It's fun.
Yeah, we should pray.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for this beautiful day that you've given us. Thank you for time in your word and time together. Lord, I just pray for anybody that is going through this with their family or maybe thinking of starting a study on their own. And I just pray that you continue to lead and guide them, direct our hearts, Lord, and be in all that we say and do. Lord, we love you. We love your Son. And it's in his name I pray. Amen.
Have a great week. We'll hope to see you next week.